Today we are talking about just common relationship statuses nowadays. I think so often back in the day it was very much you're in a relationship, you're married, that is who you're with. Any cheating of or being with anybody of any sort is just not accepted. Whereas nowadays people are kind of creating their own structure of what they think they want in a relationship and what works best for them. One being either you're in a committed relationship and you guys sleep with other people together, or you're in a open relationship where you can sleep with whoever you want but still have that commitment to that one person.
Totally.
And I feel like probably even more so for your generation too. I think that that's a very common thing now.
Oh yeah. I feel like everyone is well, and also I think certain communities too. Like I know I've talked to a lot of people in the LGBTQIA plus community that for male relationships, typically there's a lot of leniency and fluidity as far as sexuality. You know, it's like sex is just sex and a relationship is different. And I know a lot of my friends that have experienced that, all different generations. But yeah, I think in general, yeah, I feel the need to kind of scope out now if I am going to look seriously into having a relationship with someone, how they feel in those ideals. And it's not necessarily a correct or incorrect. It's more just, do you vibe with what I'm feeling as far as the future goes? And honestly, I'd like to say I have only strictly been in monogamous relationships, and I don't see that straying too much moving forward. But I also know about myself that, like, if I genuinely had make an agreement with my partner, and if it really felt like it was justified in the ways that I need it to be, which is very vague, but I think if I came to an agreement with someone, um, maybe it would be doable. But that's, I think, uh, really progressive and wishful thinking, because I do think I would get jealous in any situation, whether it be like it's
If
just
you guys did come to that agreement, would you just not want to know about it? Would you not want to, like, you're like, okay, go on and go forth and do your thing, but don't tell me?
that's a great topic because that's like boundaries within those,
Yeah.
right? Within
Yeah.
either an open relationship or freebies or whatever, what have you. You know, I love when people have like hall passes, right? It's like if I meet this celebrity, I
Yeah.
can sleep with them, which is ridiculous. It's hilarious. I hope someone has been able to do that because it seems like such a pipe. But yeah, I think personally speaking, I feel like I'd want to know.
Yeah.
I would, because I would, it would kill me. And that's why I don't think this is the healthiest boundaries for relationships for me. But I have certain germophobic tendencies. I would definitely be not micromanaging, but I'd want to make sure or instill that everything was safely performed, that everyone is being tested, regularly. So that's huge for me. And I think I would assume a lot, if I knew my partner and I had agreed on some boundaries. And anytime someone came into their life that was meow, 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 like fun around them, I'd be like, oh, they're fucking. Like, it would be like one of those things where my mind would go crazy and I would be thinking that everyone was with my partner. And I don't think it would be healthy. What about you?
I feel like I'm somewhat in line with you. I think that starting off my relationship, I would want to be monogamous, and I would want to know as we're building that foundation that we were monogamous. After a certain number of years, I think I would be open to having a somewhat open relationship, but I would always want to be there.
Yeah.
I would say like, yeah, we can bring other people in, but I want to be
Like,
there.
yeah.
But then again, I say that now, but I also don't know how I would feel about seeing my partner with somebody else. But I
Yeah.
know a lot of my friends that have done this from the beginning, and they almost find strength or growth or connection with each other by doing this. I don't know if I would be in that same bucket, but I'd be willing to try.
Right. I think I always like try to have that mentality of like, don't judge anything, preconceived notions, all those things. I think about the French, right? The French have had mistresses and misters for years, and I think about that all the time and how it's just like chill. and it's normal. And I'm like, I know America's prude for in so many ways, but I think I'm still in that, like, unfortunately, I think I'm still in that. I don't know if it's brainwashing of just the society we've grown up in, and like the fairy tale, like two
Right.
people
One
get
man, one
married and
woman.
they stay together
Yeah,
for the
I
rest
mean
of their life.
that's also it's the typical like one man, one woman, and there are other people like say you are bisexual and you're with a one sex partner and you
Yeah,
still want to explore that other thing. Like I could understand why that would maybe lead to that wanting.
absolutely, absolutely. And I feel like, yeah, just to have that kind of openness with your partner would be very beneficial, because then you can make those decisions, and if that's not in line with your partner's boundaries or respect or what have you, or if they're judging you for it, you don't deserve that as well, you know.
And then you make a decision from there. I think I think we talked about this in a previous episode too. I think it really is discussing boundaries, understanding and respecting them, and knowing that everybody has different ones.
Yeah, and
Sometimes
something.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's having these conversations early on too, that when you first are together, like having that conversation of having that open honesty to even brutal honesty, where it's like you become so comfortable with it, and it becomes so innate in your relationship that anytime things change, because as if you're with somebody long enough, you will change, things will evolve. And having those conversations, and that even sexually, like you might not want something at the beginning, but then later on crave it.
Feel comfortable and want to do it, like bringing
Yeah.
someone else into the equation, or what have you,
Yeah.
experimenting. Yeah, I think it is such a great topic, and it does give me the first couple of conversations I had with friends, romantic partners, family about open relationships, or like, because it like just made me like that jealous monster came
Yeah.
out. Like, if I'm someone's, if I'm with
Right.
someone, I'm the only one.
Well, even for me with like past partners, I get very jealous even if I see like flirting going on. I'm like, oh hell no. I need all the flirt over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
on the flip coin of that, I'm very flirtatious. And so I am like I am very double-sided. You can't flirt, but I can.
yeah, right.
I know my intentions.
No, I'm the same way. I'm totally flirty. I'm
Yeah.
aware of it, but I know that I am that brand of nice that a lot of people assume I'm flirting with them
Right.
when I'm not. And that's gotten to me into not trouble, but into like, oh, you were misreading these signs. But yeah, you're right. And I felt that, like, and it's so funny. If I've seen flirty go on with my partner before, like, it's automatically, I don't know if this is correct or what, I don't think there is a correct, but like, I automatically blame it on the person that's flirting with my man, because I'm like, know that they are in a relationship. It's okay if they don't. Like, there's obviously, you're at a bar or you're at a restaurant and someone's like, you're at a fucking airport, someone's like, oh, thanks for grabbing my bag, and you're like,
I will let you.
yeah, I know, like, bitch, get your bag next time. Like, but I think, like, a lot of the times, especially because the last relationship that I had was towards the tail end of school. So a lot of our people that knew us as a couple. There was no denying that we weren't a couple. And it's also all over social media and stuff like that. So I'm like, bitch, if you're really claiming that you don't think that we're together, and you're just like trying to be like sneaky about it, like, please check yourself. Like, and that's where I never, thankfully, I think that's a positive, that I never took it out on my partner at the time. Because again, I do think he was innocent in a lot of those scenarios. Not everyone is, some people will encourage that or almost give a platform for that. Because the attention's fun, totally. As I love flirting because I think it's like a dynamic thing. Like, there's a lot that's sexy about it. Just like, I think sense of humor, right? Like, that is really flirty for me. It's like, if someone gets my humor and I start like riffing with them, that's flirty for me. And someone might be like, damn, you're like really going in, but it's more the like camaraderie of it. Like, oh, you get me. Like, so it's an interesting concept, but I do think that I've definitely, like, as soon as that girl leaves, right, I'm like this, and then she walks in and he comes back and I'm like, what was that about?
Yes, wasn't she?
Yeah, you're just like, she's hot, I can see that. I see that booty. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you liked your booty, didn't you? I'm joking. I've never gone that crazy, but like, I think that, it's an interesting.
Yeah. So us both being single and knowing like this is kind of like probably more common now than it ever was before. If you met a guy, clicked with on multiple levels,
Yeah.
really liked him,
Yeah.
wanted to spend more time with him, but he was like, "Listen, this is what it is. Like I would need to be
Non-monogamous.
anonymous." Yeah.
Well, how would I react? Is
Yeah.
the question. Okay, so I would. I'm sorry for that noise, but yeah. See, I think I would be cool with it being if it was still casually dating. Like if it was like you have your thing, I have my thing. We're not trying to look for anything serious right now. So then it's just, you know, uh obviously non-monogamous, right? Where it's like you have options, I have options. If it was like I want to call you my girlfriend and introduce you to my family and integrate you in my life, where you go to work parties with me, people know we're associated, but I also sleep with my coworkers on the side, that might be too difficult for me to handle as a partner. And I would just say, I respect that and I'm really into you, but I think I need more of a commitment than that if I'm going to be in a relationship with you.
Yeah. No, that's
But
good.
it's, you know what? I say this now, but I've met people in my life that I've liked, and you get there and you're like face to face with them and you're having this conversation and you're like, yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
Yeah. I've definitely been there. Definitely been there. And I've done things in relationships that I've never thought I would do before because of someone stretched me in that way. And not all for the negative. I would say more so in the positive. It's broadened my horizons where I thought I might not have liked that, and then they do something, and then I'm like, oh yeah, they like I wouldn't have done that unless they provoked me to do that, and now we've done it, and yeah, that I'm okay with that. That I'm okay with that dynamic, or what have you. Well, how do you feel about
I feel similarly to you. Surprise, surprise.
it? We
I
never get along on
I
this.
never. We don't agree on anything. It's really tough to be friends with you. Um, I do feel similarly. I think that it would be a case by case basis. I think it would depend on why they were asking. I would want it to also depend on how respectful they were going to be about it. Like I don't think, like you said, like I don't want to know anybody that you're doing it with. I don't want it to be in front of my face. I don't want you to literally like just shit on my feelings so you can go and do what you want. But then when you want me, like that, I'm not okay with.
Yeah,
But if we were both respectful, we understood like we're either growing in a relationship or we're exploring to see how we feel about like having this type of relationship, then I think I would be okay with that.
yeah. I think that's solid. I think we both have a healthy dose of like we can't control everything, and we're gonna be introduced to dynamics and people that are not gonna always agree with everything that we say, even though it happens all the time with us.
Why wouldn't they though? That
But
makes
yeah,
zero sense.
it is hard because yeah, I think when I'm introduced to this question, say someone said that to me, right? I really like you. I want to date you. I want to sleep with you, but I also want to sleep with other people.
Yeah.
The question that comes to mind, why? why why and it's just like, why would you want to sleep with anyone else?
Right.
And I know it's hard to not let your ego go there, but for me that's my gut reaction is like, why would you want that? What is prohibiting you from wanting to? And again, I don't think people that want non-monogamous relationships, it's not like a always a selfish thing. Sometimes they just know that that doesn't work for them,
Yeah.
and instead of cheating on their partner and breaking hearts, and they want to be upfront about it and have that as an option. So I do really respect that, knowing that about yourself, but I don't know if that's always the case when people are introducing this into relationships.
Yeah. No, I
I don't
completely
know if it's always coming from a place of like, I vetted myself, this is not, so I can just
yeah.
get sex on the side and not feel guilty about it. Not that that's anything's wrong with that. That's just not my cup of tea. But I
I
do,
feel like sorry.
no, I
I
was just,
feel like it's more so from the men that are proposing this. Like I haven't heard a woman and I could be wrong. There might be some out there, so I don't want to generalize this, but
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's more so men because they're more sexually driven. And so like their prehistoric nature is to impregnate as many people as they can so they can spread their seed.
Only
And
seeds of love.
yeah.
No, it's interesting. I actually have a really good friend who's in an open relationship, and I always forget that she's in an open relationship. And I do wonder if she asked first, because she actually is one of those people that is like a pioneer woman in general. Like this woman knows what she wants,
Yeah.
who she wants. Like she was very mature in college always, and I, commend her so much for that. She just knows thyself. And so I wonder, she might have brought it in. I want to ask her now and kind of get her opinion. I know it's worked out for them. I know that they're headed towards engagement. I don't know if that shuts off at engagement.
Wow.
That's been my last couple of conversations with her, is her talking about like, yeah, we've talked about being engaged very soon. We've talked about the rings, like they partnership have talked about him proposing to her. And so I'm like, good for y'all. But I wonder if that continues on into marriage for them, or if that's just something of them living in a city during the young to mid 20s, where they're just figuring stuff out, and that was an option that they felt was best for both of them. I'll have to ask her, and we'll bring that back.
That's really interesting. Yeah, definitely bring that back.
Yeah,
and for anybody else that's listening, definitely like let us know what you guys think, or what kind of relationship you're in, or what you'd be willing to do, or anything.
Yeah, DM us. Like genuinely, I'll take DMs on Instagram.
Yeah, slide into that DM.
Also, we're both single. No.
Also, please slide into our DM.
I like long walks on the beach. No, I'm joking. Yeah, it's I would love to hear more about that, because it is curious for me. I totally agree with you. I'm like, it's typically a man in a heterosexual relationship that wouldn't suggest that. But maybe I don't know the women that are suggesting this.
I mean, I think that's always an interesting thing too. I think we surround ourselves with very like-minded people, and so it's hard to know like what the actual consensus is across like the board. Yeah.
Totally. Median is. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, challenge us. I want to hear about it. I want to hear what you guys feel about open relationships.
Yeah.
How are they taboo to you? Can you even talk about it with your partner? That's a whole thing too.
Oh, that's another one. If you're in a monogamous relationship but want non-monogamous, are you planning to talk to your partner, or are you just doing it on the side?
Ooh.
Tell us.
This has been The Invested Life with Adam Khalil. Remember to remain invested in yourself and all aspects of your life.